Hello, my name is Jerry Wise. I'm a therapist at Family Tree Counseling Associates in Carmel, Indiana, just north of Indianapolis. And I appreciate you tuning in, and the title of this video is Resentment, the Best Way to Kill a Marriage. Of the many reasons why couples divorce and of the many reasons why couples live in unhappy marriages, I believe resentment is probably one of the highest on the list. Sure, there's financial problems, there's incompatibility in a number of ways, but often resentment over years gets stuck, built up, and then couples have a hard time dealing with that. And when they have a hard time dealing with this, it creates an awful lot of distance for a couple and can often be create the death knell for a relationship. When couples talk to me, they often have lots of resentments they've accumulated over the years of being together. All of us have a bag of leftover hurts, resentments, betrayals, violations, broken promises that have happened in our lives. All of us have, if you've lived life for very long, you're going to find there's going to be some problems in which someone's going to hurt you, someone's going to betray you, someone will lie to you. When you've reached my age, you've had quite a bit of that. Maybe even caused quite a bit of that. So life is full of hurts and difficulties. Then when you throw two people in close into a marriage and two people into a family, then you'll find that number of resentments or hurt can go up exponentially, because now we're living with each other daily and there are problems that can arise. I wanted to share that our family of origin imprints us with our ability and capacity either to let go of resentments or for us to get stuck in our resentments. Your ability to be able to let go, your ability to hold on and get stuck has a lot to do with what we've learned in our family of origin, and has a lot to do with the emotional field within our family of origin. Most of us are not even aware of all the resentments that we carry around. I think when a lot of time couples come in, they've pushed down a lot of resentment, hurt, and bitterness way down deep just to get through each day and to live with this spouse that they have in their house. And can actually become rather numb to it and not even realize they have those resentments still brewing in there. The problem is those resentments, though maybe are not as we're consciously aware of, but they certainly take a toll and have an effect on us. So what problems do resentments cause? Everything from, on one end of the continuum, emotional distance, can cause reactivity between couples, between spouses, feelings of out of control, sexual problems, fatigue, an obsessiveness about certain issues, a loss of feeling in love, and one of the best ways to begin to restore a feeling of in love with a spouse is to deal with resentments. Depression also can be a result of resentments. A negative attitude about the world and the people in it can be the result of lots of resentments we've experienced. Even to the other end of the continuum line, clear down at the other end, in which it can cause divorce. And at the extreme end, it can cause suicide and even hurting others. When we have those kinds of resentments, or when they've built up, or when our resentment bag becomes so large. Well, now, what is resentment? Resentment is an indignation or ill will felt as a result of a real or imagined grievance. And again, sometimes we can have resentments about things that are imagined and maybe did not even happen as we thought they happened. And we can fill that bag with resentments until it gets larger and larger. And also we carry it around with us. It can be pretty heavy. And I think of bitterness as resentfulness on steroids. Dale Carnegie, a motivational author, said, "Our fatigue is often caused not by work, but by worry, frustration, and resentment." And then the most famous quote, which I think you've probably heard, which I use often, and it's attributed to a number of authors, so I'm sorry, I don't know who actually said it or wrote it. "Resentment is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die." And that's often the result of resentment. It ends up poisoning us, is toxic for us, but we think it's hurting someone else. It certainly does impact the system and certainly does impact the relationship. So how do we deal with our resentments? Another author, Samantha Lee, said, "Resentment is like a drug. Once you pick it up, it will only get worse and worse until you surrender and do the work of letting it go." So how do we do that? We do that first by committing ourselves to do the work of letting go of our resentments. In other words, committing ourselves to emptying that bag that we've been carrying around for years and years, often carrying around for as long as when we were children. And again, committing ourselves to emptying and giving up that bag of resentment, whether our spouse does or not. Often the best place to begin is with our family of origin. Our current resentments have a great place to stick when we have unresolved family of origin resentments. Family of origin resentments create a really good flypaper, a very sticky substance emotionally, to where when we have resentments now, it sticks to that. And now we have two layers of resentments: family of origin and current present resentments. Let me give you an example. A wife comes in and feels bullied by her husband and has years of resentment stuffed in her bag as she carries it around. And she has resentment towards her husband and it's been very hard for her to let that go. So why is it hard for her to let that go? She's tried a number of different things. She's gone and told her friends. She's gone to her priest and confessed it. She's gone to church. She's asked forgiveness. But the resentment still stays in there. I believe it's often difficult to let go of current resentments because it is stuck to the family of origin flypaper of resentment she felt towards her father, who was bullying and controlling. Neither layer have been resolved, so the bag just keeps getting bigger and bigger and heavier and heavier. I choose to resolve the family of origin resentment first, and this tends to make it easier to deal with the current resentments towards her husband or towards current relationships. And I think that's a very wise step in the order of healing. I think it's also important that we get underneath the resentment and find out what primary feelings lie under the resentment. I think of resentment almost as a secondary feeling. Primary feelings are feelings like shame, fear, abandonment. Those are primary kinds of feelings. Resentment is kind of on top of that. Remember, there's always an upside to resentment, or an upside to staying stuck. There's also an upside to holding on to that bag. And so many people say, well, why would anyone want to hold on to their resentment, Jerry? That's crazy. What do you mean there's an upside to that? It's only down. And if I just let go of that bag, then I'll be happy and I'll be free and life will be great. No, there is an upside to the downside of holding that bag and carrying it with us. The bag we carry around of resentment can keep us safe, reduce our anxiety, saves us from future hurt. For example, if I resent you, then I won't get close enough to get hurt by you again. And this could cause me to be hurt if I let go of that bag. There could be some downsides to letting go of that resentment. And I think it can be very powerful to find out what are the upsides to holding on to that resentment. And if we can find out what those are, we can unplug from those or find new ways to not be vulnerable, new ways to protect ourselves, that we don't need the bag to hold on to and don't have to carry the resentments for a lifetime. If I hold on tight to the bag of resentment and not let it go, it will keep me enmeshed with you. So I won't suffer abandonment, for example. Holding on to resentment creates enmeshment and emotional fusion. So I won't have to fear the experiences of self-differentiation. Enmeshment feels a lot safer. It's not as happy a state, and it's not a state that really promotes self-esteem, self-awareness, self-care, self-love, but it does feel safer than self-differentiation, higher self-esteem. And so, if I hold on to this bag, it keeps me enmeshed with you, and maybe I won't be abandoned. So what is the upside to holding on to your bag? It is possible to protect yourself without the bag. It is possible to love and be loved without the bag. But it requires some new skills and a paradigm change. We need to think differently and have a different perspective on our lives and relationships. I want you to come in for a paradigm change. That's what we do here. Many people ask, well, how do I let go of my bag, Jerry? I really want to let go of it. I'm ready and I'm willing, and I only see the good that's going to happen if I let go of that bag. And I always tell them, it's never about how, it's about when. Dropping a bag only requires you lift up your arm and let the bag go. How much do we need to know to do that? It's about when. And the when occurs when we're ready. Then the bag is let go. You might say, well, that's not a very good answer, Jerry. I want you to tell me how. Yeah, but if you stay stuck on the how, that keeps the bag connected to you. Sticking with the how keeps the bag stuck to you. Whereas if we deal with the when, then there's much more chance that we can let go of the bag. Come on in and I'll explain what I mean. Make an appointment, give me a call, and I'll help you with your bag of resentment. If you live near Indianapolis, come into the office and we can talk. If you have the internet, we can meet on Skype or FaceTime. If you can't find a good counselor in your area, which I hope you can, if you can't, give me a call. On the screen is my phone number and email address. I'll send you information about Skype and FaceTime calling or making an appointment. I have clients from San Francisco to Connecticut. I appreciate you watching the video today. Have a great day.